This is Oft Off Topic, a show where two men with the attention spans of a squirrel try and fail to stay on topic with today's subject. Where will their oral meanderings take us? Well, stick around and listen, because today's Oft Off Topic is... the newly announced Apple Vision Pro, that fun augmented mixed reality headset that you're seeing all over the internet on TV that people are super excited about. We figured we'd give a quick moment to talk about it and give our opinions and maybe some predictions on what we think will happen in the future with it. You watched the video, right, Nate?
I did. I actually watched it. That was a good boy.
Yes, you did. Good job. I'm very proud of you. Kind of an interesting, neat piece of tech, huh?
It is, and it will go nowhere, but it is.
Yep. That was my thought. Is the only people that really seem to be super hyped for it are Apple shareholders, as far as I can tell. Really rich people, and the people who got invited to like the demonstration Apple put on earlier this week. Because I was watching reviews from people, and all of like the tech guys who got invented the thing were talking about, ooh, this is miraculous. It's going to be great. We can't wait to see. And all like the tech reviews who weren't invited to that are sitting around just like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Apparently those gift bags can really purchase some opinions or something from people.
Well, don't get me wrong. It looks bad. It looks cool. Like, I mean, I wouldn't say it looks cool, but it is, I can see why. You know,
yeah, it is one of those things that could be the beginning of something new and huge. It could be one of those like the iPhone where 10 years from now, like, how do we get along without this?
That's it. It's going to be one of those things that will, like, this is the first step. You know what I mean? Like, it will happen, but as it stands right now, it's not gonna. Not with that.
It's not very convenient when you're like, hey, I want to make a phone call to sit down, strap this huge VR set onto your front of your face and, load up and boot up your whole system and get into it. Because even playing VR on the PlayStation, I really like it, but sometimes it's a lot of effort just to put on that headset and then have to take it off if you got to go pee or whatever.
That's actually what I attribute it to as well. Just, although this one does look a lot more, it's not attached to a big block on your TV with several wires.
Yeah, it's almost cordless for the most part, kind of ish.
Well, I saw a cord, but I didn't see it was going to. Like on the video, it's going to their pocket. Is that their iPhone? Is this supposed to be going to?
It goes to a little battery pack that's a little bit bigger than an iPhone.
Okay, because they were like standing up doing stuff. I'm like, wait, where's that wire?
They weren't very clear on what that is because, my first thought was, hey, does this actually plug into an existing iPhone or into a computer? I mean, do you have to buy a computer on top of this? And this is just like a new way of viewing your already existing hardware. But nope, all the computer hardware is built into this guy. So you don't need to plug it into anything. So, I mean, it does work as its own standalone computer. However, that battery pack, it only is rated for 2 hours of use at a time. And that's rated for, which means probably at the lowest settings and not doing a ton of stuff. So I'd imagine if you're like watching high-def videos or playing games, it's probably less than 2 hours. And 2 hours is barely enough to make it through a movie if you're watching that. And that's one of the big things they touted was watch it in your own personal theater.
Yeah, I mean, that is actually a pretty big... Yeah,
halfway through Batman Dark Knight Returns, all of a sudden there's a little flashing thing being like, hey, put this movie on pause and go swap out your battery.
That is actually pretty substantial.
I mean, 2 hours. And then probably their idea will be like, well, just buy extra battery packs, but Lord only knows how expensive that'll be.
Now, I did not know it was like that. I guess I didn't pick that up on the. Of course, they wouldn't be like, hey, guess what? Only 2 hours.
Yeah, and what was I going to say? Oh yeah. Also, one thing they didn't really bring up is it does have a plug into the wall mode you can do, where instead of plugging in the battery pack, I guess you just plug it into a wall adapter. But another thing is they never said how long the cord is for that setup, so. I can just imagine, it's like 4-foot cord, got set right into an outlet.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's one of those things that looks cool, but once you start like picking away at it a little bit, it's like,
I mean, seriously though, I mean, it was kind of exciting watching that video. It's like, oh man, look at that. You can do all this cool stuff, but I don't know.
You're like me where you're like, this is still version 1.0 beta of this.
Yeah, and a lot of stuff, like, plus... I don't know if I want the Apple version. I don't like Apple. I very on purpose don't do Apple.
This actually brings me. Yeah, one thing is I hate about Apple. If iTunes on the PC, that is the main thing I hate Apple for. Is that is one of the worst programs I've ever used on anything. I feel like just clunky and works poorly. And I get it; they wanted to run poorly on PC, so you buy yourself a Mac. But
I mean, let's not pretend that all companies aren't evil bastards, and they would run over a baby if it would make their bottom line a little bit better.
Absolutely.
Let's agree on that. my issue comes in where it's Apple is so blatant about it. That's one of the reasons why I stopped using their products.
They are so smug and their hubris is so large. They're just like, we'll
really
do what we want.
And it's almost like a cult-like following that lets them get away with it.
Yep. Don't ever speak bad of the Apple because, ooh, boy, howdy. We owe our lives to them.
It's like, okay, we're going to have, it's the whole thing about the chargers. Like in Europe, they're like, okay, everyone needs to have, I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Reverse. Way back in the day when there was actually like, concern over how many different kind of chargers there were and how much, the landfills are just filling up. I mean, they're like, look, there are all these different, every phone, whatever, has their own proprietary charger. And it's getting ridiculous.
Yeah.
And even like the household, you'd have 6 different wires that went to 6 different things.
Yeah. You could have 3 different iPhones with 3 different styles of charger on them at one point, I feel like.
Right. And so they're like, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to just make it one universal. And there was the USB, it wasn't C, but USB, whatever.
Micro was the first one they tried.
Yeah, micro. I'm sorry. Yeah. Yes. And that worked, and the Android phones all did it. Every company did it except for Apple's like, no, we're not going to do it that way. And
we like ours better.
And then they had, and of course, their chargers break. You look at it wrong, they stop working.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that goes even for like the off-brand too. I mean, I'm the only one in this house who doesn't like Apple. Everyone else has Apple. My wife still tries to give me crap for not having Apple because she's like, "Oh, we can do these things together." I'm like, "Well, we're not gonna." Like we
that's
can do
good
FaceTime.
And all, but no.
Yeah, we could do FaceTime. I'm like, oh, I know we can, but we're not gonna because I refuse. Since I had that one,
you could always Skype instead too, or use Facebook messengers kind of stuff. So
I can't remember which one it was. I can't remember which one it was, but like I went in to get taken care of. Like I think this was back when water killed everything, and Ella August was still a baby, and she got her sippy cup and like dropped some water in there. It wasn't a big deal, but like I wiped it off. It seemed to work fine, but then eventually my like the plug for the head outlet. Wow, words are leaving me.
The headsets?
Yes, the headsets. Yeah. God, Lord. It's been a hell of a day. So my headset would stop working. Like it wouldn't work unless I held it just so. So it was not the wire. Because of course the first thing you think is the wire. Yeah. I used different headsets, didn't work. So I went in there and he's like, "Has it got any water in it?" I'm like, "No, I don't believe so." Well, he took it in the back and did whatever they needed to do, and they came out. There's a little red dot. He's like, "See, look, it's red dot. You can't. Sorry, you're out of luck." I'm like, "Really?
That means there's water in there."
Yeah, like apparently water came in contact, and apparently we'll come to find out later, like humidity would do that. It didn't necessarily mean water came in contact because that when she put those little sippy cup on there, it wasn't enough to soak it. I mean, a little bit got on the screen, and again, it was a sippy cup, so a little bit of water on there, but not a ton. But I would take them in the bathroom and showers and steam.
Yep. So, I was just about to say humidity. I've heard stories about phones dying in the shower because people take them, especially with like the very early waterproofing. People assume that since they're that waterproof, you take them into a hot shower and they'd be fine. But nope, steam gets places water won't.
Yeah, I mean, I never got it in the water, but yeah, I mean, I would say when I listen to music, I've got one of those like the standing showers, so I just put it on the top of the metal part of the shower to play music. And so, yeah, there's a lot of steam in there because I like my showers hot. So, I don't know. Ever since then, again, I mean, I know Androids, regardless. Well, I actually I have a Samsung. So, to get a little more specific, I guess I have a Samsung.
The Apple of Android phones, sort of.
Yeah, kind of.
Kind of, not really, but
yeah, not ones. Really, but close enough. Close enough to go ahead and say it. Like, I agree with that with the stipulations.
Yeah. It's better than Apple phone. I like my Samsung way better than my Apple.
Right. And don't get me wrong, Samsung's got their problems too. Like let's all agree that their battery life, has had issues in the past. Never mind the explodey one or the Note 8. I'm just talking about just in general, use it. It goes from it's pretty good battery life to, did you use this phone for 5 minutes without having plugged in? Well,
yeah, right.
You're done.
And then you plug in your charger and it's barely keeping up with the battery drain.
Right. I mean, it's gotten better. I mean, hell, I use a Samsung 22, or was it Ultra 22S, whatever, 22 Ultra, whatever. It's not the most latest and greatest, but it's pretty close.
Yeah, it was last generation.
Yeah, it was last generation. It's a big one, and I prefer big phones. Which is I know it. I would say I know we're getting off topic, but that's kind of the theme.
Not really. We're still talking about tech.
True. I mean, And I remember like watching like Zoolander, where they're like, "Oh, the most high tech phone." They had this teeny tiny little phone. Everyone kind of assumed phones would get small. Well, the opposite happened.
Yeah, making the joke where
Where
people would swallow their phones and choke on them, and
right,
I remember all those.
and so no, I mean they've gotten bigger. And honestly, the reason why mine's bigger is because I don't use my phone as a phone. I do, obviously.
Yeah.
I call people, and I text, sure. But I'd say 90% of my phone usage is playing games, watching things. Actually, watching things. 90% of watching things. I don't really have time to play games much anymore on there. The only game I play now is this one game I'm actually kind of getting sick of. So I'm trying to find a replacement. What is it? It's Survivor.io. Have you ever played that?
I don't think so.
It is fairly difficult. At first, like on TikTok, they're like, "Oh, no one can beat this game." It's not. The boards aren't that hard at first, but they do get progressively more difficult. You've got a little dude. He's got a weapon, and at each round that goes up, you start from like only just a little bit of weapon. You have to level up. It's not quite a roguelike, but anyway, it's fun. It's fine, but I am getting sick of it. And it's one of those games where if you really want to get everything out of it, you need to spend money. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, no.
I just won't. I refuse. So that game is just going to be, I'll play it until I'm done. Actually, right now, I'm probably not going to delete it because Ella's been playing it. And I'm like, okay, it's fine. Yeah, I'm not really losing anything for her.
Yeah, it's not like it's taking up gigs of storage on your phone.
Well, yeah, I mean, on top of that, my phone has 540 gigs. And another thing about the Apple phones is all three, August, Ivy, and Jenny, all three of the phones are maxed out. Like they're having to go through and delete videos and photos off their phone. And they're like, well, you could purchase more space.
Yeah, and that's what they're trying to get you to do is buy their cloud storage bonus.
And they did. That's the frustrating thing. They did buy cloud storage, but that cloud storage is for photos. And so my girls are playing Genshin Impact. It doesn't have that storage. So yeah, they got storage.
Weird.
But Ivy's like, we need to buy more storage that will allow us, allow me clouds for like anything outside, or I don't know how it works. I haven't looked into it. I just know they're talking about, they're bugging me to buy more storage. And I'm like, my phone currently has 240 gigs is on my phone right now. That's how much storage I have on my phone. I still have, that's not even half of the available storage I have on my phone. And I'm like, why do you still have an Apple phone?
Have they not uninstalled an application in like years on their phone or something?
Well, no, they do occasionally. And of course, even a game like Genshin Impact gets some bloat. So they should probably uninstall and reinstall out.
Yeah, after 30,000 patches get downloaded for it.
Right. And August is finally just deleted off her phone. She was playing it for quite a while. She was a higher level than anyone else in Ivy. And, I mean, she had almost not quite beat the game, but her levels were really high. And the thing is, they dumped a bunch of actual real money into it. I got kind of frustrated for like Ivy got $75 in Apple money, and she spent all of it on Genshin.
Yeah,
and it's one thing.
It doesn't surprise me because I've gone on spurts where I'm just like, oh, hey, look, I can buy that for $10 and it's on sale for $8. Woo! Kind of dumb stuff. I know.
No. It's different because I say bot, I mean gamble, because
gotcha.
They go in there and you get, okay, here's, you get wishes, and each wish costs so much. And in order to get so much, you buy these things and use that as currency to get your wish. And then you may not, like, they want a specific character. She spent $75 and still didn't get that character she wanted. So that's messed up. Like, that's my problem with it.
I wonder if this kind of stuff's going to lead to a lot of gambling addictions later in life for some
reason. It is. Like, they're actually,
I mean,
like,
if it's not already doing it, because
there were legitimate concerns on some of the Xbox games. I think it was like FIFA and things like that. Where
that FIFA,
the loot crates,
that's just a racket. Yeah,
it really is. Like, I think in Europe they got sued because it's gambling.
Yep, it is.
And these children are gambling with real money.
Mm-hmm.
It's a racket. It's a racket.
Yeah. Oh, going back to what you're saying about how phones were supposed to get smaller and smaller. They were getting smaller and smaller until people started using them for stuff other than phones. As soon as they became like a miniature laptop, that's when they started getting big again.
Fair enough.
When the smartphone came around. Yeah. Sony was like, hey, we got full-fledged web browsers on a phone. People are like, we need something bigger than T8 now.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, because I think the first time I realized I needed a bigger phone, it was what game was it? It was a game recent, like
Hitman Sniper?
No, XCOM.
Oh, okay.
It was XCOM on the iPhone, and so which I loved it. You know, I was playing just fine, but then as time kind of like I got upgraded on phone, and then all of a sudden they're like, "Well, this game won't work on there anymore." You know, you
Oh,
need
I
to.
hated that.
It's like we're not updating this. It's like,
Yeah.
dude.
Especially when it was like, hey, now that you're on iOS 7.0, you can't play this game ever again.
Yeah.
Because I think Civilization Revolutions was that way.
Yep.
Yeah, which was.
I mean, I don't know. I know. I had Civilization Revolutions, and well, they even did that on the Android though. Like even the Android, they're like, okay, you can't play it anymore.
Oh yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Civ Revolutions on the Android,
And
I think
which
they
is
did
messed
that
up.
too. Yeah, it really is. It's not financially feasible for them to do that.
I mean, part of me, I get it. Like, okay, you keep on updating. If our game you're not really running anymore, fine. But it's just,
And one
it's
thing
annoying.
too, I wonder, is there going to be games on this Apple Vision Pro? Because everything they're talking about releasing games, but all the stuff they're really showing now is more multimedia featured, like taking pictures and watching TV and watching movies, and I guess some like desktop work too, because you see them like doing office kind of tasks on it in the video.
Well, they briefly mentioned games, and I mean, honestly, that I almost said Google Glass because it's basically the upgraded version of that. But I
Yeah,
would actually wouldn't mind playing like instead of was it the 3D or the virtual reality or the VR headset for the PS4? I wouldn't mind that on the
yeah.
PS4. Just I don't know.
Yeah, it kind of looks like you'll be able to play your PS4 through it one way or another. Or maybe they're using the PS4 controller, but there was one scene where the lady was playing, I believe it was NBA 2K on her on a big giant digital screen in front of her.
But why would you play? I mean, I don't know if they did get their licensing to do it, but like, why would you display? If you're gonna pick a game to demonstrate like what to play, I mean, I know we complained about this earlier, but use Skyrim.
Yeah, probably
You know,
they'd have to pay for the rights to use that. I'm guessing.
well, yeah, but
There's a
they're
good
also
chance the game
charging.
there's.
They're charging $3,000 for this thing. They can spend a few dollars for like, okay, let's get, or you know what, not if not Skyrim, fair enough. Then use another game similar to. I mean, I
Well,
know there's no
yeah.
game exactly like Skyrim, but there are other games where you're walking through forests and whatnot.
Also, Skyrim's an old game, so it might kind of look like crap on the something newer like the Apple Vision
Fair.
Pro. Yeah,
Well,
because I
again,
mean that game is kind of getting long in the tooth, man. I bet you if we fired it up right now, we'd be like, oh,
I have recently. Yeah, it definitely shows its age. I like playing the VR version. I do still like, oh, that's really kind of cool. But I have the original like VR, the first VR that came off PlayStation, and it's I don't know. I remember when first time I tried the VR, I think like this is amazing. I've never seen anything like it, and then I started actually like paying attention to it, and I'm like, well, this isn't as high tech as I thought it was.
this isn't like real life. I feel cheated.
Yeah, I mean it. Yeah, it just.
Now, also, you need to play different games on it too, because you kind of have limited experience on the games. Because most of the games you've played have been like games that already existed that had VR thrown on after the fact, and those aren't really the best examples of VR games, to be honest.
True. Well, I mean, still played the Fruity Shooter. I'd like to play, but honestly, the main thing that my girls play is Job Simulator.
Oh yeah,
They
it's built around VR.
they fuck. I mean, but still, it's like, and that is because it's so cartoony. It
It's also
works.
funny as hell too.
Yeah, it works. Yeah, they like it. It's funny. Yeah, it's fine. But I don't know. I want something like in my VR experience. I want something like the Skyrim, but higher. And I also don't want to get sick.
Dramamine.
Yeah, Dramamine, probably good idea.
Yeah, and if Dramamine makes you drowsy, non-drowsy Dramamine doesn't work as good, but it will still help a lot.
Oh yeah, Dramamine knocks my ass out.
Yeah, so try the Dramamine non-drowsy. It doesn't work quite as good, but it will knock off the motion sickness a bit. Oh, and also, random thought. Remember how we were talking about Apple and its hubris and the stuff it likes to make you do? Do you remember back when, way back when they decided that everybody would love a new U2 album on their iPhone and iPod and they pushed it on there?
Yes.
Could you imagine if they did that with this thing and you just fire up the Apple Vision, all of a sudden Bono's in your living room and just won't go away? I was like, oh, Bono's like, yep, Apple put me here. I'm going to sit here and lecture you on crimes in Africa until you do something. It's like, you literally have Bono like following you around through the house, whispering in your ear.
He's whispering, "Help me! He won't let me go.
I signed something without reading it, and I regret it. Please help."
Yeah, it's Apple's favorite thing. Sign things like, we're going to give you this a long ass list that no one will ever, no one will read.
At the very top of it was like, do you want to be famous for the rest of time? And if you don't read the fine print, it's like, well, enjoy it in digital world where you're trapped in a hell of your own making.
That's South Park. I'll get you a human centipede.
Yep. Got to make sure to read those terms and conditions.
I mean, I'll be honest with you, dude. I mean, I was watching that and I got excited. I could totally see why people would be excited about that. No, not like human centipede thing. No, the what we're talking about, the whole point of this particular podcast. It's it's like it looks exciting. I mean,
I also like the eye tracking on it. Eye tracking is kind of cool, where you just look at something and knows what you're looking at. Apparently, there's a little bit of calibration beforehand, but yeah, it just reads your pupils and knows exactly what you're looking at,
which is awesome. I mean, I really
PSVR 2 has it too, so it's nothing new, but apparently it is a really cool and works really well. And I guess in order to select things, you just pinch your fingers together. Did you catch that in the video?
Well, she was kind of like being all sly with her hands. Like the main lady they were doing, she was just kind of like down on the download, just like kind of moving around.
Yeah, well, what it is there's cameras at the bottom of the glasses that are like literally pointed down at your crotch, which those will probably have a future programs. But those cameras just register your hands, and they just wait for your hands to like tap together, your index finger and your thumb tap together, and it takes that as like a double click. But my other thought is there's a lot of really fidgety people out there. Even I'm fidgety in that way sometimes. And I don't know if I want the camera reading me all the time, like twitching my hands around and stuff.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, like almost immediately porn.
Oh, absolutely. The porn studio's been working on stuff.
Immediately.
Yep. I hope it's going to be... One thing it made me think of was there's a Married with Children episode where Bud Bundy gets to try out VR porn for the first time. And they basically strap this big headset on him and lay him down in his chair. And he's in this like full bodysuit. And there's this giant like clip on the front of the crotch where they just take this giant like cord and they're like, chunka, and turn it on. One thing I saw actually as a side note that people should talk more about this, I feel, but I thought it was a really cool idea on this Apple Vision Pro. They actually have it built in for little inserts on the inside where you can slide in prescription lenses. So if you wear glasses all the time, they'll actually come out like little prescription slides you can like slide in between the eyepieces, in between your eyes and the headset, so you can see better without having glasses on.
I was actually wondering about that as they were watching the video. They're like, I was like, I wear glasses. I mean, it's not too bad. Like on the PSVR. It's not too bad because it's not right on your face.
Yeah, it's also lower res and stuff too, which probably you don't feel like you're missing as much. So I thought that was kind of neat because a lot of those headsets don't seem to really take in consideration people with glasses.
And I like on the video, like this random chick walks up, starts talking to her. She's like, "Oh, hey, you're just talking like normal." I'm like, "You've got a big giant thing in your head."
Yeah, well, there's that feature where if you're talking to somebody, did you notice where like her face appeared on the lens of the headset she was talking on? Basically, if you're watching something, like if you're sitting there watching TV on the thing, the lens on the headset's going to be blank to show that you're off in cyberspace doing whatever. But if somebody starts talking to you and you look at them, that blank screen on the front of the glasses will actually turn into a picture of your face. So that people know you're actually like it. Yeah, so people know you're interacting and talking to them. But it's not actually your face it's showing. It's a digital recreation that it takes.
I thought it was just for the FaceTime stuff.
Nope. It's also it is for the FaceTime stuff mainly, but also that, when the glass on the front of the thing becomes a transparent looking, it's actually just showing you the 3D digital avatar. Because the front of that thing is actually a screen. Yeah, a very uncanny valley kind of thing. I mean, I guess I kind of get it. So that way, people don't have to like wear makeup all the time when they're doing it to look good outside of the mask. But I don't know. Digital avatars kind of. Well, that's the only thing I could think of.
I tell you what, it's better than the Facebook thing they were doing.
Oh, metaverse. Oh, that was one of the dumbest things ever, especially with how up their own ass they were about it. Because I remember one point they were like, within 10 years, like 40% of everything we do will be in the metaverse or something idiotic like that they were saying.
Yeah, I can't remember where I heard, but I heard like someone would actually use it for a job, and it was awful.
Yeah. Apparently, Facebook employees were supposed to use it, but nobody used them because
Yeah.
nobody liked them.
Yep.
And yeah, one thing about the
Well,
metaverse too is Disney actually had big plans for the metaverse and supporting them. They scrapped all their plans and kind of moved all their ideas to the to Apple now, and they're fully backing this Apple Vision Pro, which yeah, that could be a good thing, but
well,
or
that
it could
makes
be a good
sense.
sign for the thing.
Well, that makes sense because again, this is not full VR. You're
Yeah,
still
there's
in
augmented
the world.
reality and
Yeah, it's changing what you see, but you're not exactly like, oh, look around, you're in a fucking thing. I mean, yeah, it
yeah.
looks like it has the
Well,
capability of doing that.
it actually does for the movie watching. I was watching a demonstration on the movies, and you have multiple things. You can either have it set up so it's just like a screen floating in front of you, like like a TV would be. You can put it up so it's almost like an entire panorama view where the screen's like almost all of your view sight, but you can look to the left and look to the right and like look around it. Or
Mm-hmm.
you could set it up to where it's almost just like the full panoramic thing, but everything else around you is like you're outdoors in the woods or in an actual theater. So it is like
Right.
a full disconnection from reality if you click whatever button it is enough.
Which is fun. I mean, I like the idea. Just unfortunately, I mean, I very rarely can do that
Oh
because
yeah,
I
especially with kids and whatnot. I mean, you'd get that on and get all comfortable, and all of a sudden be like, "Dad, I want a ham sandwich." You're like,
right. I
can I
mean,
make you this with this on? No.
yeah,
But
I don't know. I'm not. I wish I had the ability to do that. To like separate myself like that sometimes. And yeah, sometimes I do, but like even at night when I'm, God, Lord knows, when we're playing games at night, it's like okay, I'm finally done. Everyone's in bed. This, that, and the other, and I sit down to play, and it's like, oh look, Daddy, I get this. Daddy, I
yep,
need that. I'm like,
dog scratching at the door. You're like,
dog scratching at the door. Just, I mean, it's gotten bad. Like, I mean, of course, it's just being a parent, but like, I'll go to bed. Next thing you know, it's like, I can't sleep. I'm like, well,
no,
that's my
what do you want
biggest,
me to do about it?
that is my biggest annoyance. I can't sleep. Well, what the fuck do you want me to do
Yeah,
about
I
that?
can't sleep. Now you can't either. Ha ha, have
Yeah,
fun. You're like,
like, then lay there until you can.
yep.
What do you need? Of course, I'm gonna try. Like, I'll talk to him and stuff. Although I will admit, like, nighttime me is a monster. Like, if you wake me up in the middle of the night, I do not want to be a jerk. I don't want to be a jerk. However, I'm gonna be a jerk because I'll be. I don't know.
Yeah, the fact you say you don't want to be a jerk means you're not that big of a monster.
Well, I mean, I'm not like killing people, but I am biting people's heads off. Just like, what?
Get the fuck out of my bedroom. Close your goddamn door. If I hear one more fucking peep out of you, I'm coming in there. That kind of stuff.
Oh, well, no, I don't go that far.
Oh. Yeah, see, that's not even a monster in my idea. So
okay.
we have different ideas of monsters. I guess.
Yeah,
well, my parents were a lot shittier than you are as a parent.
Yeah, I'm
so
not. I don't go that far. I'm just very short.
Yeah,
and I can't.
And then
I
your
can't
dad just like stands out there. I fucking heard you. Move. You're like, one thing that was kind of neat about this is you can take like fully 3D videos, I guess. Like if you put on the headset and you got your kids playing around from you, you can push a button and it'll do like a full 3D recording that you can watch back at any time. I'm guessing the only recording only looks good played back on the headset, so another kind of limited feature. But yeah, they had this whole thing where it's like, hey, you can like completely relive this whole moment again with 3D recordings you did. It's just like they're there again in front of you. Which made me
neat.
picture like, lonely people like reliving their dead relatives over and over again in like some sort of sad loop of depression.
I actually kind of thought that too. It's like, whenever I see videos like that, like, oh, look at the kids running around. I always flash these movies where it's like, this guy's like drunk and all sad, looking at like
you go over
his
your Uncle
family
Jimbo's.
playing.
Yeah, you go over your Uncle Jim's place and he's just got like that headset on for like 2 days straight, just crying his eyes out over his dead wife. You're like, dude, are you okay? She's still here with me. You're like, maybe you should get outside. No. Yeah, because I can see that actually happening.
Oh, absolutely. You can't
Yeah.
tell me that's like no one would ever do that.
Well, especially even Apple was kind of touting the whole. Remember back when Avatar came out and everybody was like, "I want to go to my own personal world, my own little reality. I want to hide away from this reality and go to the Avatar world." Remember when that was kind of a thing people were talking about? Well, Apple's kind of hyping this as being that option where it's like, "Hey, man, you want to escape from reality? You can go to the African Congo without leaving your living room. Watch what them horrible Belgian people did to the poor people of the African Congolese." Yeah.
Or Big John Apes will attack you and smash your head.
Ha. Yeah, I like that movie, Congo. I got you. Was that the name of the movie?
That wasn't the name of the movie.
Yeah.
The book was better.
Yeah, that's what I heard, I feel like.
Oh, the book was way better. I mean, that's also kind of cliche. Of course, the book was better. The book's almost always better. But
Almost always. Sometimes sometimes a movie is as good as a book because they're almost identical.
legit, no question. I read the book and then I saw the movie. I was severely disappointed.
Yeah, because you're like, hey, this is only vaguely like what the book talked about. And you just know some screenwriter got hold of it and is like, well, I know how to make this better.
I mean, I don't know. Just, they really did drop the ball on that one.
Yeah, I don't really remember much about that. That was one where they set up like the little laser turrets out, or laser controlled machine guns out in the woods and waited for white gorillas to attack or something.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it was gorillas, and I think
yeah, maybe we're getting confused with Gorillas in the Mist, where Sigourney Weaver like took up militant action, like went to war against guerrilla poachers.
No, it was definitely it was definitely gorillas. Well, and the gorillas that in the book they had like paddles, and they would roll up to people and like smash their heads. You're like, squish.
I was just picturing like little freshman paddles back. We're gonna paddle your ass, kids.
Right.
School's out for summer's like playing in the background when gorillas are chasing down people with paddles and whacking their asses.
What movie was that? That was
Dazed and Confused.
Dazed and Confused.
Yeah.
Not a bad movie.
No, not a bad movie at all. Actually, I haven't seen it since way back in the day either, so who knows how it's aged, but it was one of those movies that was perfect for the time.
Yeah, that was with what's his face kind of first made his first big splash. It was all right.
Oh yeah. That dude.
Yep.
I'll
think of it later.
Yeah, me too. All I can think about is Texas dude who plays bongos naked.
Oh, that guy too.
Matthew McConaughey?
Him.
Yeah.
Yep, that's him.
Yep. There we go. He drove a Lincoln before it was popular to drive a Lincoln. Dumb commercials.
Those were really stupid commercials.
Yeah, they really were. Just easy work for him though. I mean, it was literally, hey, do this 30-second voiceover and just sit in the driver's seat of a Lincoln for 5 minutes. Enjoy your.
Do you ever watch Jim Carrey make fun of those?
I saw South Park make fun of them.
Well, it's a SNL where Jim Carrey did like a spoof on that. It was actually pretty funny.
I could imagine that.
I mean, not that Jim Carrey's not. I don't know. It's like Jim Carrey. He's got a lot more like unfunny.
Yeah, he's trying to do that serious midlife crisis actor sort of thing.
I mean, part of me gets like he's like, oh, anti-gun, and I mean, I'm not exactly pro-gun. I by any stretch of the imagination, but I also acknowledge like guns can be fun in movies, and he was getting all like anti-gun in movies right after he was in what was it, Kick-Ass 2, where he was a gun guy and he's going around shooting people. So it's like, okay, you're gonna make a movie with a militant gun dude shooting bad guys, and then you could turn around and say, oh, no, guns are bad.
Yeah, maybe that role opened his eyes to the evils of the gun industry. That one role alone.
I mean, I don't know. It's I get it's complicated. There's nuance. So that again, I do not want this to be a political podcast, but let's just all agree it's nuanced.
Yeah. Also, Jim Carrey's kind of one of those all or nothing sort of guys. Like if he's anti-gun, he's fully anti-gun, or if he's vegetarian, he's fully vegetarian, not halfway. I
mean, I'm fine with actors and public figures wearing their politics on their sleeve. I'm totally fine with that. It's whatever. Just I don't know. I honestly don't know where my lines are, because just don't try to shove them down my. That's the thing. Don't try to shove them down my throat. Even if I agree with you, Like, for instance, the movie. Oh, this was a movie. You ever see? Oh, damn it! What was it called? Sausage Party.
Yes.
And the animated movie.
Yep, I saw that.
Yeah, it was just like, okay, look, I might share your beliefs, but this is a religious movie. You might be, this might be quote like an atheist movie, but this is this
I
is
know all the hallmarks
all the
of
yes,
yeah.
hallmarks, all the hallmarks of one of those cheesy ass Christian movies, except it's just not Christian.
Yeah.
And so,
It uses that same formula though.
Yes, and that's not the solution.
Yeah, no, it's. I guess I could see it trying to be like, hey, we'll beat them at their own game, but it's like, that ideal doesn't really work.
Yeah, I don't know, was not a fan.
Yeah. One thing I'm not a fan either about Apple stuff is if it breaks, it's really hard to fix. And I was wondering about this headset, like if the strap breaks or if a screw pops out on it. That seems like one of those things that'd be like, well, we can't fix that. Buy a new headset.
Or how much are they going to charge you for
Yeah,
it?
because I was looking at that. Yeah, because I was like looking at that headset band and everything. I mean, it doesn't look cheap or whatnot, but it also looks like something that could fall apart. Or, if your dog chews a wire apart, I mean, that charging wire could be very expensive. Because you'd like to be like, well, people are going to take good care of it, but no, that's not how it works.
Yeah. Do you know people? Have you ever seen them
right.
before?
Like, oh yeah, I let my little nephew try it, and things went horribly wrong. But that's just how things happen, though.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I am.
We're tentatively excited about this, but we know this isn't going to be it. Is kind of what I'm getting from us. Yeah,
and honestly, not from Apple. Like it's not whoever it's going to be. It's not going to be from Apple.
Whoever comes out with a really cheap Chinese knockoff for $250 that works almost as good will probably be the one that gets it.
Yeah, I mean, or that's the ones who will like stick with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really wish I'm actually looking forward to a world where something like that is useful. I mean, I would love to like be watching my stuff, but yeah, the day people are walking around with that in their face, no. I mean, Google Glass has been around for a while, and I think I've only seen one person ever like legit just kind of come in and wearing it.
Wow, that's more than I've ever seen too.
Yeah, and it was at a GameStop.
I'm kind of impressive that you actually got to see somebody wearing them. That's neat.
Dude rolled in with the Google glasses on. I'm like, okay,
yeah. Did you have a bunch of questions for him? Because Lord knows I would have been.
No, because I kind of don't want to do that. I don't want to give them the satisfaction.
That's true. You're just waiting for somebody to ask you about them, aren't you? I'm not going to indulge you on that. No, see what you do is you start asking questions, and whenever they get all smug about it, you start shitting on it.
Yeah, I don't know. Like even like celebrities, I've work in retail, the places I've worked at, I've actually run into some celebrities. No one huge. No, I've never ran into Brad Pitt, but I've run into.
Hey, there's that weather lady off of Channel 4 locally, or whatever.
Like there was a wrestler, I forgot his name. I've had a few actors come in. It's like, and I couldn't tell you their names, but it's definitely like, oh, hey, it's that guy.
Yeah, it's that guy.
You were in that thing that one time.
Hey, that's Clint Howard. Yay.
Yeah, I've definitely had like actors come in and like celebrities, but I refused to like even give them I wouldn't even show my face. I recognize them because plus you always hear these actors going, "Oh, I can't go anywhere. Everyone's always la la la." So I don't even I don't even give them the shade of recognition. I mean, maybe if they're staring my eyes, they might be able to see that I clock them that I know who they are. But I'm not. I refuse.
After you refuse to acknowledge somebody, that like rich person goes home. Turns out they haven't had an acting gig in decades. They're all depressed. Like, even the guy at Macy's didn't recognize me. What have I done wrong so far? It goes back to the bottle and cutting himself.
The one that actually stands out the most in my head is actually wouldn't even consider them really stars. It was what was it? It was there was a dating show where, I mean, this is like decade or two ago. And what was this? It was a show where like these like kind of uppity rich girls or like prissy girls, they were dating this Australian outback guy, like the Crocodile Dundee dude.
Yeah.
And it was like a dating show, and he ended up hooking up with one, and they went off to get married or whatever. Well, they came in, and it was not that long after the show aired, and dude, he looked like a beaten man. I mean, I don't know what happened to him. I'm not gonna try. I mean, I'm sure if I went on Google searching, I could find out what happened. My guess is they got divorced because she was a total C word, and he was very polite and like just was done. I mean, you just defeat on his face. Yeah. Like, yeah, man, You need to go back to the you
Yeah.
need to go back to the Outback. You need to go take her with you and then accidentally run into one of the thousands of things that will kill you.
Yep, right. Just leave her with a pack of dingoes and see what happens.
Yeah, when she gets up and she's sleeping in the middle of the night, you get up, you get your jar with one of those poisonous spiders that are everywhere. It's kind of drop it on her face, like whoops, oh well.
She's so toxic the spider bites her and the spider dies. You thought you could kill me, did you? Poor spider didn't deserve that. Oh yeah, and one last thing somebody brought up about this Apple Vision that might be kind of cool, I thought. If they could actually make it so you could be like courtside at a basketball game or at a concert, be front row center with Dave Matthews sitting there in that headset on. That I could picture being cool if done right. Although, a person who was talking about it was like, especially if they make it cheap, like $10 a ticket. But as soon as I heard that, I'm like, oh no. If there was something that exclusive, it'd be like $200 for a ticket or something stupid. I mean, it should be $10 because it's digital and it's not real, quote unquote. But you're paying for the exclusivity to be able to do that.
Well, I don't know if it's still around. There's a app called Umbrella or something like that. I can't remember what it is, but
the zombie making app.
That'd be awesome. No, this is like people like live stream stuff, and people like for Dave Matthews, my wife would be like, sometimes she would just sit there and watch. Like people would live stream, and he didn't care. That's the one thing about Dave Matthews.
Gotcha.
I'm not a massive Dave Matthews fan. I do like him. My wife's converted me. I'm not, but I don't listen. I don't listen to him like because I choose to. He's not on a few of his songs on my playlist, but by no means is he like anywhere near the top people I listen to.
Yeah.
But Jenny just like she has followed him since the beginning of his career. And most of the concerts I've ever been to is Dave Matthews concerts, so it would be pretty cool to have those glasses that she could put on, and at the very least,
hang out backstage with the band or whatever. Yeah,
or that's also stream those umbrellas. Like people have, they're holding their phones up in the concert and just like recording him and live streaming it, and so those are pretty cool. Although you are getting the full experience of being in the crowd, being the negative experience too, which is there are people nearby, they're walking in front of the camera, people are singing along, like he's trying to sing, but like Rachel over here is singing off key the whole fucking time,
and the wrong song.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, just. I mean, but again, that's the concert experience.
Yep, that's exactly what concert experience is. Hey, somebody puked on my shoes. This is awesome.
Yeah. Oh man, the last time we went to the Gorge to see Dave Matthews, that was hilarious. Like these fucking people in front of us, they had a big water pitcher, but it's full of vodka, and like this one dude almost finished it off. Like and here's the thing, like, have you ever been to the Gorge?
No.
So if you're, of course, if you're up front, this is actually one of the few places. Like if you're up front in the seats, it's actually worse than if you're behind the seats in the grass behind you, because in the grass, like, you're not as close, but you can still see just fine, and you actually get a lot more relaxed. You can lay down on a blanket or whatever. Like the second time, one of the nights we went there was a little outcropping of rocks. They had a little kind of, you can make a seats, and we sat there. But I mean, but anyway, the incline is really steep. And these people, poor bastards, were so drunk, and they're just trying to stand there. But because of the almost near 45-degree dip, they could not. Like he was struggling to even maintain vertical.
Like, we might see somebody with a one-way trip to a hospital here in a moment. They take the wrong fall.
It was quite funny.
Yeah.
So
the little fun, amusing things you see when you get out.
Yeah, I mean, and I haven't been to many concerts. The most, like I said, 90% of the concerts I've been to, I even higher than 90 has all been Dave Matthews because I've gone with her. Yeah, before I started going out with Jenny, I just did go to concerts. Because in my mind, I'm like, why would I go to a concert where I'm going to get lower quality and I got to deal with everyone screaming around me, and I'm not going to hear the song that I'm familiar with? I might hear the song I'm familiar with, but I don't know, for some reason it really bugs me when I'm used to hearing a song sang a certain way on the radio, with inflections on this word, and like this is held for this long, and and I get the streaming in my head. But then whenever you go to a live concert, of course they give you some flair because they're not going to give you the same thing every time. So it sounds different and it bothers me.
It sounds like a cheap cover of a song to you all the time.
Kind of, yeah. Like, the biggest one is, remember Hook from, was it Blues Traveler?
Oh, yeah.
the hook brings you back. Well, they released a second version of that, like an updated version of it. I hate it.
Hate it.
But we could, again, because it's from the 90s, it's been singing the same song's been going on the whole time, but I can sing along and I know exactly what's going on. Now he started putting inflections, like drawing things out, and I go, and some of the other words he did before. I'm like, it's like nails on a chalkboard. But again, like, going back to Dave Matthews and like his stuff, he does the same thing. However, I guess I'm used to it and it's fine. Every song is sang different every single time. Like all the concerts I'm into, he's never sang the same song twice the same way, and it's fine. Well, I think we drained this Google Glass thing. I don't know what else to say about it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we've gotten everything we really could.
Ultimately, it looks cool. I mean, if it comes out, like if someone's like, "Hey, one more of these," I'll say yeah. Yeah,
it would be fun to go to a store and demo it, like one of those Apple stores. Dress up nice and go down there and be like, "Hey, I would like to sample this new product, good man."
I look forward to using this future version of whatever iteration comes out with.
I look forward in 20 years when this is affordable enough that we can all use it.
Right. That's the funny thing.
Of course, by then it'll probably just like Wi-Fi beam stuff straight into your brain and you won't need a headset. So,
or just like pop in some
LSD
contacts.
And then just okay, there we go. Yeah,
I was thinking contacts. Sorry, the name word blank for me, but put some contacts in, like those Batman contacts from.
I could totally see that being a thing eventually.
So I mean, and then they'd definitely be like, "Oh, okay, everything's everywhere."
That'd be much better than like a 8mm jack, like in your brain, like a little hole that you actually plug something in. Right. I remember that in some movies back then. Like, I don't want a hole in my head that I plug stuff into. How'd you keep it clean? Keep all the hair out of it and stuff.
I do think it's funny how, and one of the first things I thought of, even when like VR stuff, I've thought of this, is like, I do think it's funny how like, oh yeah, don't sit too close to the TV screen, it'll make it's bad for your eyes. Now they're like, never mind, the TV screen is on your eyes, like literally, you can't escape it, it is smashed on your face.
Yeah. Apparently, from what I read, that whole "don't sit too close to TV" was always a urban legend.
And yeah, I've heard the same.
Yeah, it's because the reason kids were sitting close to the TV is because they had bad eyes and they needed to get close so they could actually see clearly, not that they're sitting close that they got bad eyes. Yeah, they put the cart before the horse.
I feel like a moron because that makes perfect sense. I've never heard someone say that, and that you're the first person that I hear to actually put it that way. That makes absolute sense.
People are like, little Johnny got bad eyesight because he's sitting so close to the TV. It's like, no, little Johnny has bad eyesight, so he's sitting close to the TV so he can see what's going on. Yep,
that makes perfect sense. I don't know why.
Yeah, once I heard that, I'm like, oh, that makes 100%. So we can end this episode on a good knowledge bomb. Yay. Good times.
This is where the ending jingle goes. This is where the ending jingle goes. I don't know if we need one. I don't know if we'll get one. But if we do, then here is where it goes.